Are you here for behind the scenes at Dayton Live? What's the password? The legacy between distilled spirits in Dayton and the Victoria Theater goes way beyond having a drink before or after a performance. I'm going to share with you some of that legacy, so follow me. We're in the basement of the Victoria Theater, and I'm going to show you one of the most intriguing things down here. Watch your head. This is a tunnel that runs under First Street to the block across the street. We're not really sure where it goes though, because it's been sealed for decades. However, legend has it that it's just one of many tunnels built under the theater, some even big enough to hold circus elephants. This spot we believe to be the entrance or exit to one of Dayton's notorious speakeasies. During Prohibition, between 1920 and 1933, speakeasies were illicit establishments that sold alcoholic beverages and appeared all over the country. The term speakeasy first appeared in an 1889 newspaper referring to a saloon that sells without a license. Shh! They're called speakeasies because one shouldn't talk loudly about such places in public. Dayton's relationship with distilled liquors is as old as the city itself. One of the 19 men who founded the city in 1796, William Hamer, was skilled in the manufacturing of corn whiskey and opened the city's first distillery. Dayton also became the first city to offer mail-order whiskey. By the 1870s, it is reported that Dayton had over 300 saloons. As Prohibition became the law of the land 50 years later, it isn't hard to imagine that dozens of speakeasies would secretly open all over Dayton, even under the Victoria Theater. The first theater to open on this spot in 1866 was called the Turner Opera House, built by Joseph and William Turner. These brothers made their fortune as distillers in Salem, Ohio, up near Clayton. 3 years later, in 1869, the theater caught on fire in a suspected arson. When the fire reached the whiskey barrels and gunpowder being stored in the basement, they exploded, completely destroying the building. The Turner brothers only recovered a fraction of the insured damages and decided not to pursue rebuilding, instead concentrating on their distillery business. As a side note, the theater was rebuilt quickly by some other community members and reopened in 1871. So, here in the basement of the Victoria Theater, we have a mysterious homage to a time when distilled spirits intertwined with the spirits on the stage. Today, speakeasies are popping up all over the country, with mixologists creating classic cocktails that go perfectly with a night out at the theater. Well, I'm going to go have a classic cocktail myself. I hope to see you at the theater soon. Hey, thanks for supporting Dayton Live, your home for arts, culture, and entertainment. Now, you've heard an awful lot about the relationship between distilled liquor and the theater, and I'm going to share with you one more tidbit. So come with me into Betty's wardrobe. For hundreds of years, troupes of performers have shared their plays and musicals with audiences all over the world. From troubadours to commedia families to Broadway and concerts, the tradition of touring is still very much alive today. But for modest tours, they have to take special care of their sets, props, and most importantly, their costumes. Not every tour has the resources of a big Broadway show or an A-list musician, where expensive costumes are cared for by a wardrobe crew or could be replaced quickly. Many tours, that responsibility falls on the performer. So what do they do? Well, those costume pieces that can be thrown in a washer dryer are certainly cleaned often. It's the other costume pieces like period dresses, specialty coats, vests, pants, and shirts that can't be laundered often or at all that tours have had to find a creative way to clean. One way they do this is with vodka. That's right. Vodka. Costumers realized that when diluted with water and sprayed modestly on costumes after a sweaty performance, the vodka neutralizes the odors that are trapped in the fabric. And this technique also doesn't damage the fabrics like frequent laundering would. So, the next time you see a tour, it's entirely possible they're traveling with a bottle of vodka, just not to drink. Well, thanks for joining me for Behind the Scenes at Dayton Live. I'll see you next time.